decide if one gets more attention than the other. Otherwise, welcome.
Thank you.
Episode 5 of Mike in a Bottle, joined by the lovely Yasmine.
Thank you.
Abdel.
I'm lovely too.
The lovely Abdel.
And myself, Kevin.
Not so lovely.
Right? And so today, I wanted to start off with a bit of a story.
Okay.
Oh.
Story from yesterday. Me and Abdel, we were in the park. We take these animals out,
Okay.
these dogs, to walk.
Did we ever introduce the dogs?
Yeah,
This
you
is
know
Pixie?
why we do that.
And the
Yeah.
little active one is Puppy.
Yes,
Puppy.
this is Pixie, this is Mom, and then Puppy, you'll see her run around, that is the daughter. All right, so we were taking these two lovely animals out to the park, and we're having lunch, as we do every day,
Okay.
and it started to rain. And I'm from, most recently I've lived in Los Angeles, where it almost never rained.
Sunny.
Sunny all the time, like it's almost like it's too predictable, right?
Okay.
And so it was raining yesterday, and I always compared I compared Tunisia to LA in the weather. The temperature is actually very, very similar
Yes.
throughout the year.
Yes, that's true.
I think it gets a little hotter in the summer out here, but like right now, the winter, it's about the same temperature. Anyways, so it was raining, and I'm from Miami, where it rains a lot.
Okay, sorry. The reason I'm smiling
I know it's.
is because I put that lamp inside the box because they keep knocking it down.
Oh.
And those kittens are up to no good, man.
Okay.
They got inside the box.
You wanna fix? Yeah, let's fix it.
Look at them. They're having the time of their lives inside that box. That lamp is going to fall.
Oh my god. All right, so we fixed the lamp situation.
So yes.
With a little technical difficulties. I apologize. Yeah. Anyways, so we were at the park. I was being annoying, talking about like how I hated the rain, and Abdel made a very interesting point.
Yes, so like I personally love the rain. I love when it rains. I wait for the peak point of a rainy day to take my dogs out and go out in
really?
flip-flops.
Okay.
Dogs love the rain too. They play so much in the rain, they get so active. And so aside from that, even before, I found rainy time to be always like poetic and nice.
Oh, poetic to watch, not to be under.
I like it, honestly. It's
Okay,
fun. It's
good
being
for
part
you.
of nature. Anyway, that was our whole argument at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I'm of an opinion that I've always, in my years tried to be adaptable in situations. That's like one of my core philosophies. And Abdel pointed out to me yesterday, just for the fact that I don't like the rain, and it like interrupts how I go about my life.
Yeah.
That in itself is not being adaptable.
Understandable.
So
So Kevin thought it was a good podcast idea.
yeah.
And
So
here we are.
yeah, and then here we
Here
are.
we are. We're gonna talk about rain.
No, but
Joking, but-
here's where the really crunchy stuff is that me and Kevin, we have very different personalities in some aspects. One of the things that I know defines me at this point is that not a lot can bother me. Like I can be in any situation and still be comfortable and okay. I require very little to have a good time.
To be happy, yeah.
Yeah, to be comfortable, like I would sleep on the floor, I would go out in flip-flops.
Yes.
Sometimes like I don't like even to have shoes on. And that's what Kevin was saying about the rain yesterday. He's like, man, yeah, sure, whatever, but like you might feel good like getting the rain on your face or something, but then you can't feel good about having wet shoes.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, the shoes and clothes are, human invention.
Yes.
We were not made with clothes.
Okay.
In the way that we were made, all naked and everything, having a few drops of water on us is kind of enjoyable, isn't
Doesn't
it?
bother. Well, yeah.
It's
We
like
take showers,
it's like what we call a bath.
Not public showers, but yeah, we do take showers.
I always go back to the primitive, Yasmine. I always go back to the earliest humans and how those guys were
Primitive,
doing.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that if the rain was warm, if it wasn't like windy and cold outside.
Yeah, summer rain.
summer rain, right?
Yeah.
Monsoon in Hong Kong or in Asia
Yes.
now, like
Or
those are
Miami.
great. I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. If the rain is warm,
Yeah, it's warm.
and you're not so riddled with shoes and
Uh-huh.
all this cover on, then it feels good, right?
Well, yeah.
In that way, like that makes me a bit more adaptable, since like going out in the rain doesn't pose any problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, just being raised in Miami, where it rains way more than it does here. Like during the summer, it's really hot, humid, mosquitoes getting crazy. They suck your life away.
Yeah, here too.
You know.
Same, huh?
Yeah.
Not that different.
But you know, in Miami is different than here, where you can barricade yourself indoors
Okay.
very, very easily and keep the outside out. Whereas I feel in Tunisia, it's a little harder to keep the outside from getting in.
Did your house get flooded or something?
No, no, I'm talking about like we have like such barricaded screens, like mosquitoes like have no chance to get in, and the AC keeps
Oh, yeah,
mosquitoes.
same shit here.
Yeah.
Like my mom sells mosquito nets.
Yes.
As part of the products.
I don't know of anybody in Miami that has mosquito nets.
So how do you protect yourself against mosquitoes?
The houses do that.
The houses, like the
As
way
in,
they
like,
are
air
built.
conditioner?
Yeah, the air conditioner, like
Nobody leaves the window open in the summer?
No,
Really?
not to my
What if you want
knowledge.
some fucking
Actually, you know
breeze,
what? I'm not
right?
speaking for all of Miami, but who I've known there.
You don't
That is not an
sometimes-
issue.
You don't sometimes in the summer enjoy like having the window open, having the breeze come
Oh
in
my God, it's like a furnace
all the time,
in the summer.
24/7.
Absolutely.
Probably the
The only
humid
the
thing.
only kind of break we get in Miami is winter, where it's
about at
like
night?
where it's like nice.
How
Yeah.
about at night?
And during the
It's-
summer.
Yeah, it's still hot as fuck. Can't open the
Hell
window.
Yeah,
yes.
probably that's
It's-
like the humidity thing.
It's like Vietnam, man.
Ah, it's
yeah,
humid.
it's like
Very
humid.
humid.
It's very humid,
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But also same for the UAE. Sometimes the temperature is okay, but you feel like you're suffocating for some reason, and that's because of the air is very, very humid. As when you have like very dry air, not dry, but at least semi-dry like Tunisia, it's not very humid. You get at least to like enjoy some breeze, like he said. Just open the windows. There's like
So-
even if it's hot, it's still okay.
It's dry hot.
Dry hot, it's okay.
So that's actually another point of the same topic. You see, like having to live in a
Oh, yeah. I know where
constantly
you're going.
air conditioned situation
Environment. Yeah.
makes you a lot less adaptable as a human being.
I absolutely
So
agree.
I think the core of what we're trying to get to the point, to the bottom of right
Yeah.
now, is how much of all these comforts that we are so used to and that are such stable and constant parts of our lives makes us, in the long run or in our lives, less adaptable human beings.
Everything,
Right? Everything.
everything,
that
starting
surrounds
from
us.
lights.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, we can even go back further. Like, how would someone 1,000 years ago look at someone today?
As very
Every single one of
Wow.
us is, you know, adapted to a different scale
level.
of life from nature, right?
True.
I think the more as we advance as people,
Mm-hmm.
like the more we insulate ourselves away from nature.
Right.
And I've seen personally how the detriment that can pose, you know, when you get far removed from natural circumstance.
You become like pretty much a useless human. Like there's not much you can do when you're like all by yourself in nature in your like most original element, and you don't have like
The
a light.
basic-
You can't
Yeah.
deal with it.
You don't-
Yeah.
Basic survival thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys would be so surprised at watching like a typical camping experience in the U.S. Like people,
Yeah.
like some
Like
people.
very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they basically
Oh my God.
break the whole house with them.
Yeah, you bring a house. You actually do.
Actually,
RV.
yes, RVs, exactly. Just like, okay, let's drive the house to
Yeah.
somewhere and experience camping.
To go and go get
Let's
really
get
natural
Let's see
Yes.
nature.
with our gas tank and our
Yeah, with our
Let's get
fucking
primitive.
grill.
backdoor shower. You
Yeah.
got like all the kitchen utensils.
Well, I mean, it's not that bad
It's
because
not, of
if
course
you
not.
have
It's not. It isn't.
It's made to
It's,
be good.
it's comfortable.
exactly, why not? Like
Nobody's saying it's
we've
bad.
reached,
Yasmine. That's
we've
the,
reached
That's
this
the problem.
certain no, because like sometimes there are different kinds of campers, okay. I am a part of a lot of camping groups, and sometimes they get a little bit judgmental. Sometimes like people share their experience and they show off like their equipments, the highest like the best equipments.
Martin, oh.
The best
Was he like that?
equipments, the latest thing, like new inventions, like
Yeah.
tools, like very, very like
yeah.
in. So people will judge and be like, that's not the whole point of camping. You just have to go and be like as natural as possible and try. The fun thing about it is figuring out what to do when you have nothing. And I'm like, we've worked so hard to reach this kind of like technologies, all
You mean the
these new
scientists,
tools.
right?
Yeah. No, well, okay, I cannot argument because I haven't made any inventions to campers. I haven't helped any campers.
So other people worked hard so we can be here, all right?
Other people worked so hard for us to have this level of comfort, even if we want to go like primitive.
So are
and
you
connect
saying it's
with
kind of
nature.
offensive to those people after all the hard work they've done
Exactly,
to not
so
use their shit?
If you have the tools, like the RVs, if you can, why not? Like, change the scene.
I agree with you 100%. There's different kinds of campers.
Yes.
There's people who go out there just trying to get a break.
Connect
Right.
with nature, yes.
No, yeah, so that's the
like-
other side.
Okay.
One that is just trying to get a break.
Break, okay.
Right? So
Yeah.
it could be a hotel or it could be nature with all the comforts that come with a hotel, right? And it's very comfortable, nothing dangerous or risky about it.
Yes.
You're gonna keep your regular comforts. And there's people who go for the adventure for like getting to the thick of it.
Yes.
Right?
Get your hands dirty.
I will add another level to this,
Uh-huh.
right? And we talked about this before, like travel. It's almost the same kind of idea, right?
Yes, true.
Right? Some people go for the hotel resort.
Right.
Everything's nice,
Other go
prepared,
backpacking.
activities scheduled throughout the day, etc.,
Right,
etc.
right.
And then there's people that do stuff in their young 20s, just go out and
Backpacking.
go, backpacking,
You know,
go across.
You just made me think about something. The fact that it's similar to travel, it makes me think about like what I personally think about when I think about backpacking or when I think about like going like wild camping, like wild fucking camping with the
Yeah.
least amount of shit possible.
With no-
Just a tent
You're
and
just
something
going to
sleep
torture
on.
yourself, basically.
Well, I never feel bad in those things. It's always
Okay.
really exciting. It's always really engaging, and you feel good about everything that you're doing. Like even sometimes you get a little worried,
Yes.
but it's so good because you're in a situation where you have to really figure out everything,
Yes.
and you know that you have all the skills you need to survive.
That means you're very adaptable. Back to our first point.
Yeah. But does everything always go according to plan?
No, and that's the beauty of it.
That's
Right.
the whole point of being adaptable. No matter what's gonna happen, it's okay. I can figure it out.
Exactly.
But, however, for people who are always like picky or like they set certain expectation, and if something deviates from the plan, they'll be like, "Oh my God, I cannot handle this," and there's like certain limitations. So that's the whole difference about being adaptable, less adaptable, or not adaptable at all. Like someone who just wants to go by the schedule, like everything is planned, I know what I'm gonna do, and yes.
Yeah.
So, let me add a level of complexity to
You
this
just said
argument.
that.
Another level.
I'm
It's
add
another level.
Another level.
It's multi-layered
Level
at
up.
this point.
Another
I hope
level.
you guys are keeping up, all
hope-
three of you.
All good?
I
All
hope.
good?
I hope so. So, would you say this is something learned or something you're born with?
Definitely something learned.
Absolutely, I agree.
Definitely learned.
Yes.
So you think so? According to that logic, someone could be intensely picky up until say 29, 30 years old, have a life experience, and completely turn it around.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
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 Yeah.
A lot of people tell these kinds of stories. I came from this background and then I managed to do something
Look,
else.
in the end, everybody has the potential to get down and dirty,
Yes.
right? It's about the motivation that takes you there. Like for me personally, I was saying earlier, I think about backpacking the same way I think about like wild camping. I think about it as a challenge, right? And I love that challenge. It's a challenge in a nice in a nice environment where it's dynamic, where it's natural, where it's beautiful, and that fuels the positivity of the challenge. So I see myself as having done a great accomplishment when I come back from that trip and I figured every single problem out and I had a good time.
Yeah, of course. You
For me at that point it becomes like, how much comfort did I have and how much fun did I have? If the comfort is low as fuck and the fun is still pretty fucking good, that's how much achievement I've made.
Yes,
right?
that's how adaptable you are.
Yeah.
That's how what I'm saying. That's the value of the achievement. The achievement is just that good.
Yes.
Like you need the minimum amount of stuff to have a great fucking time.
Yes.
With backpacking, it's a question of money. I spent the least amount of money possible, and I had an amazing fucking trip. Right?
Yeah, we have had a couple of those.
Right.
Yeah, I've had my share as well. I've had my share.
Damn.
Oh, there it is.
Box or
Better
no
like-
box,
better
they don't
like-
care.
better
It's
like
fine.
it,
It's
yeah.
Oh, did it lighten us up?
Yeah, it's
So
better
for
like-
those who cannot see this, you're seeing here the cat just knocked over.
This guy.
This mom and her troublemakers just knocked over the light,
Yes.
and which conveniently worked out on giving us more lighting.
Does that work? Is that
Yes,
the right angle?
yes, yes.
Sorry, I messed it up.
So playing to our theme, we are being.
Jazz hands.
So playing to our theme, we are being adaptable, as madness goes on back there.
Yeah, so some people look at it as a challenge. Some people think more of, I just need to take a break and I don't need to go and get into some risks or have to be worried or anything.
And if I
That's
can,
not the objective.
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
And that's understandable too.
So they can afford some luxury, and why not? If I can do it, the whole point, I go home happy, and this is what it takes for me to be happy. I just don't want to worry about anything. I don't want to have any unexpected troubles. and
You
stuff
guys
like
have
that.
been backpacking before, right?
I have, yes,
for
I have.
For like a long while, right? For like over 3 weeks.
Oh,
something
A month.
like that.
I have not.
Right. So
Yeah.
at the end of that month, like at the end of a given trip, throughout like several areas, or moving a lot, or changing locations, or doing a lot of things, you get to a point. I get to a point where I'm like, oh man, I really miss my couch. I really miss just like being on my couch playing video games and just not giving a fuck. And like not having to deal with accommodation,
Yeah,
not-
figuring out
not having to
details.
fucking hitchhike,
Ah!
or figure out SIM card stuff.
Or after you finish backpacking and you go back to whatever things you were saying now, your couch, your comfort zone, you'll be like, man, I miss those days.
You
when
did
I
too.
was
You could have both. I
that
swear.
thrill of just
Oh,
not
man.
knowing
3 days after you come back, you're like, oh man, that was a
Yeah, I'm
good
ready to go.
why did I come back.
Exactly right. Exactly.
So, yeah.
So
Digress.
then-
Yeah.
Then moving around with an RV becomes great. It's like, oh man, I miss nature. All right.
Outside.
Yeah,
All right, man, I miss my couch. All right.
Come back inside. Come back inside.
You got couch on the go, baby.
Yeah,
Well-
so everything has like its own pleasure. You just have to find what's best for you and just go ahead and do it. That's it.
And again, like there's not like a fixed type of people. If you're this kind of person or this kind of person, that doesn't define you. That just means you've had a certain type of experience more than the other, and you can still have either one of both.
Yeah.
Like right now, if you come to me and you're like, "Hey, here's an RV, go have a good time," I'm gonna be like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
exactly.
be like, "I don't want your
Yeah.
modern wheels.
Technology.
I don't want these tires."
Yeah, but so it's like we're saying, like there's levels to it, right? Like everyone has a
There's
level
choices.
of their interest in the wilderness and being closer to that, and then there's people who are much more interested in the comfort level of it.
But that's
And-
not what I'm saying, though. I'm not saying. I'm saying it doesn't define people, right? The fact that you do this one time or you do this other thing, it doesn't define what kind of person you are.
I'm of the opinion that I'm different than you two. So maybe in Tunisia, your opinions are influenced
Okay.
a little bit differently. But the people that I've seen in the U.S., generally people who go camping, these are people that expect a certain standard, because all Americans I'm speaking for all Americans. The Americans that I know expect a certain level of standard when it comes to camping.
No, I get
Comfort,
I get you,
Right?
Kevin. That's true. We saw your last trip with Jen.
Yeah.
That was
Well, but that's a different kind of trip, though. It's not. We weren't camping. I mean,
We ended up camping.
we ended up camping. Yes.
Right?
In the middle of nowhere.
Look, what I'm saying is, you could be a person that up until this point has only gone on comfortable travel, or you could be a person who up until this point only went on really wild, really dirty type of camping or
Yes.
traveling,
But
whatever.
that could change.
And so-
Exactly.
Yeah,
It
and
doesn't define who you are as a camper.
Yes.
You can change it at any moment. You could switch back and forth. You could do this. You could do that. Right?
The fact that you believe in this means you are adaptable.
Yeah.
Because some people, they are so stick to their opinions.
That's
and
exactly
they're
what I'm
like,
trying to say.
No, I'm comfortable with this. Why would I change? Why will I try wild camping, or why will I try comfortable camping? Because that seems like too much to me.
And
so.
then they go and judge people with the gadgets.
Exactly. That's the whole
right?
point
Yes.
of
Because they want validation. Full circle.
That's true. That's true. If you judge, it doesn't say good things about you. So
Yeah.
It just says you're looking for validation. You've done this part of life. You're so committed to that. You can't accept the other
exactly
alternative. So you're like, dude, what you're doing is wrong. What I'm doing is right.
is right, because they don't believe in like variety of things, like
Yeah.
my way or not.
Yeah.
So
There's certain people I feel that they, through their life experiences, they expect things a certain kind of way. But, like we're discussing, staying adaptable, this is kind of like a mindset that we all have kind of built throughout our lives.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas someone on the other side of the spectrum would say the complete opposite. Like camping should be comfortable and da.
It's about open-mindedness in the end. It's about
namaste to that. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
about like not believing that you have the absolute truth. And we've broached on this topic quite a few times before.
Yeah.
Yes.
People get to a certain point of their lives where they have a certain set of experiences, and it's up to them how they process those experiences. It could either make them open-minded people that know that there are different ways to live, and they don't really care about what the
That's
other person
true.
specifically is doing.
Yes,
or
true.
they could be so set in their ways and not really able to
accept.
process their experiences properly, and get to a point where like they don't know enough about themselves to say that, hey, maybe some of the stuff I'm doing is wrong. They get to a
Exactly.
certain point where they're like, okay, I've lived this far this way, so
Yes.
that must be the
The
truth.
truth,
Anything
yes,
else
is
is
wrong.
impossible.
Yes,
Yeah.
is
Right.
Yeah, man.
is not acceptable. And that's actually one of the good benefits of traveling, that it gets you out of that mindset that
Yes.
my way is correct, or my culture,
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man, this is a
Perfectly
great
said.
point. That's a
Perfectly
great
said.
point, because when you go to another country, especially one that doesn't speak your language,
Yes.
then you realize how insignificant everything is. Right? How useless. Like, why are we getting upset about stuff? Like,
Yes.
people, like in this country, there's millions, arguably billions of people who have lived their lives in a certain way that gives no shits about
Yeah.
you or how you've been raised.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you understand your insignificance, and then you look at your society a little bit differently.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
You're like, why are we getting upset about this? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing right now?
And-
Go on.
Sorry to interrupt, but
No,
it's
go on.
also the whole point about minority and majority, because let's say, for example, in one community, or we talk about Tunisia, let's say the whole population, they share one certain belief, like, I don't know, one idea or one concept about something, that makes it also kind of valid, because you have a majority that believes in it.
Yeah, it's the
But
network
if
effect.
but if you are traveling somewhere else, you become the minority and everybody else is the majority, and that kind of shakes your beliefs, and then it's like,
Exactly.
okay, I have to think about few
It's
other
like,
ways. Yeah.
It's like looking at Earth in space, right? It's just a small point.
Yeah.
Looking at your experiences and the way you were raised in a country like India,
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
where like you're like someone unheard of,
Yes.
all of your life, all of your
Yes.
experiences, they don't give a fuck.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right?
Right?
So you're small in comparison to all that. You realize that maybe all the stuff you're getting so upset about and so
It doesn't matter.
convinced with and so like obsessed with is
Yeah.
just not really
So what-
necessarily true.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey said that in one of his latest interviews. That he was being interviewed and he was like, "None of this matters. This is unreal." So the interviewer,
Yeah,
the girl, she
that one.
goes,
Yeah.
"Like, what do you mean? Like, this is not real?" It's like, all of this is not real. We don't exist.
Dude,
That guy is
Jim
on a-
Carrey
Jim Carrey is on
Went
another
through
level.
something
Yeah.
between the years of like I don't know 2012 and 2016. He
Yeah.
went through something that
Yeah.
completely changed
Changed
him.
his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he
Probably.
became like a one of those
Like sages.
like a sage.
Yeah.
And it's so confusing because you don't know if either he got lunatic and crazy or what he's saying is actually correct.
I thought about that for so long.
Yeah.
For so long. 2 years ago, that was like one of the main things I was thinking about all year. I was looking at Jim Carrey. I was looking at the things he said. And they said something to me, but at the same time, my first instinct was like, is he nuts?
Exactly.
Like,
yes.
should we put him in a ward or something?
Yeah, or should I believe what he's saying because it somehow makes sense, and coming from him, it must have a sense.
It makes you give more validation to those random ideas you've had at some point, and you're
Yes.
like, maybe there's more to what we see around us. Maybe life is not as we expected, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe it's hiding a lot more secrets than I thought.
Yeah, and I mean honestly,
sure.
you know,
Absolutely. At this point, I'm convinced. Thank you, Jim Carrey.
yeah.
He's right there.
Well,
Jim Carrey fans.
Yeah, he's on
comment.
Yasmine's channel.
yeah, you know,
For sure.
someone tag him. I'm sure he'll
Shout
drop
out.
in a minute. Yeah, but in the end, you know, it like I said, when you go to those new countries, you have those experiences that go far outside of city life and what you're used to.
Yeah.
Like that puts you. It won't change your mind,
Right.
but it will put you in a position to think about things differently.
You
makes
are
you
so
question.
right, Kevin. You are
It
so
makes
right.
you question.
Yes, you see, like one of the things I really enjoy about like a successful or even a failed camping experience is that you go back home and you go back to those comforts that you have in your life, and you're like, hey, you know this thing? Yes, it's super useful. Yes, I would have a really hard time without it, but I'd survive,
Yeah.
and I could have a good time without it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people now have tendency to become minimalists. If you have heard
Yeah.
about this.
That's becoming a very. It's catching on fire. Minimalism.
I think a very good example of this is how I sleep in a hammock. Right? For me,
Okay.
a bed right now is completely unnecessary. Like it's just like a luxury.
Yes.
If you want to really like have a great place to have sex on, it's good.
Yeah.
But as far as
Very
sleeping
convenient.
goes, a hammock costs fucking $35. It's perfect. And it's adaptable. You can take your bed with you anywhere.
Yeah.
You get out of bed like this.
Yeah.
And you can swing.
Yes,
And
I
it's
love
lovely.
that.
Does your bed swing, Kevin?
After my bed doesn't swing.
Does your bed swing?
It does not know.
Bam. Anyone whose bed swings, tell me,
Hammock
let me
is the
know.
best way
Let
to
me
sleep,
know.
according to him.
But Abdel, what happens if you are like 6'4" and your back doesn't work, or 6'4", 195 centimeters, and your back doesn't
The thing
work
is
well?
like 2.5 meters.
I know, but I'm saying like the hammock bends your back in a certain way,
Yeah,
right?
because of the gravity, it's like
yeah, so
you're
not
like this
not
at a
everyone can
certain
deal
point.
with that, right?
No, but a hammock is like a flat surface, really. It adapts to your.
I have
to
never
your-
seen a flat surface hammock, Abdel.
Because
No,
it depends on.
Black and white.
Black and
Yeah.
white, yeah, like
Ah,
it's either
yeah.
this or this.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no
yeah.
other options.
Yes,
or
yes, yes,
nothing.
yes, yes. Very true.
Oh, Cinda Baka, Jim Carrey fan. Yes, me too.
Yay.
We love Jim Carrey.
So,
God damn, I stopped the timer like 3 times.
All right.
Yeah, so it seems it's hitting a chord with some people, but yeah, I think in the end of the day, when we're talking about adaptability, I think it's a very good practice for all people to exercise at least a certain level of adaptability to all their circumstances.
Well, to just strive for it.
Strive for it.
People have different circumstances.
We're all gonna we're gonna fail sometimes in our pursuits of this.
Yeah.
But
there's different minimums of comfort. No matter how adaptable you are, you've lived a certain life that led you to expect a certain level of comfort, no matter what it is, really, low or high. And it's good to just, as a human, we always try to self-improve, to make ourselves better, to be better than the day before. So it's a good point to just try and be more adaptable as you go. If you find yourself under the rain, try to look at the bright side of it.
Exactly.
Why is the rain a good thing?
Actually, just try to step out of your comfort zone.
There you go,
because you might not know how adaptable you are until you define first
Until you try it.
what's the things that make you uncomfortable. For example, for me, I don't like talking to strangers. Like I just like stay
She said
to
on a live video broadcasted on the internet.
well,
with a potential reach of 20,000 people.
Well,
she knows all of them though. She knows all of them personally.
I do know and I reply. But come on, guys, you made me blush. So what I'm saying is, for example, if you have a certain limitation in something, I'm uncomfortable when I talk to strangers, or for example, if I walk into a room and I don't know anybody, I would just sit by myself in a corner and just be there trying to be invisible. So that's one of my limitations. So for me, I'd like, in a way, to practice getting out of your comfort zone. I'll be like, okay, next time I go into a room where I don't know anybody, I'll just try to approach people and have a conversation. I know that's not recommended in the US.
No,
because they'll be like, oh, sorry, do I know you?
Listen, let me just pause you for a second. There will be 0 people in the US that treat you hostilely if you approach them in that kind of manner.
Okay.
Like you
I don't
will.
know. What about a crazy dude in the subway, man? I don't know. That's not good advice.
Well, in the ghetto, yeah, maybe
No, well,
not.
actually, I'm wrong about something.
Might be bad.
Because Americans at least the friends or the people that I know tend to be a little bit too friendly.
Americans,
Yeah, sometimes if I go to a restaurant or something, they'll be having a very friendly conversation. How's your day? And stuff like that. And I'm like, okay.
Look, I just think we cannot possibly generalize over an entire country.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
million
of course.
people.
Exactly.
We can't say Americans
I've
are
been
friendly
lucky, I've been
or
lucky.
unfriendly.
Yeah.
I've been lucky on some restaurants then. Okay, never
Look,
mind.
I have lots of American friends. This is one of them right here, and most of the Americans I've known are cool to talk with, are easy to approach, easy to talk to.
Yes.
And I've heard also stories about Americans that are not so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then when I would
No
only
stereotyping.
the one thing I would add to
Yes.
that is the most Americans you've met have been in which kind of countries?
Like they've traveled before, or
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm leading
so
to.
they're a little bit more.
You also cannot generalize.
You
Yes,
cannot.
yes,
You
let's
cannot.
not fall in
Obviously,
this
you
trap.
have everyone from every spectrum anywhere you go.
No.
But I would generally say that Americans who are able to make it to places like China, for example, that we went to, different secluded places
Came
in
to
Europe,
Tunisia.
for example.
Let's not veer too far from the point. You should really try and connect with people as much as you can.
Oh,
but
of course.
you should also use your mental capabilities to decide what are the best people to approach and which ones should probably not be approached.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
sure.
Right. Good discretion.
That's up to your discretion,
That's
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
But it's good advice. We were talking about it yesterday, and honestly, if you don't get out to connect with people, you end up being closed in your own bubble, and you don't know so much about the other side. And it's always good to try and know about the other side, to put yourself in their shoes, etc.
Yeah, and it doesn't let you evolve as a person because you don't think there are people out there who are better than you in few things.
Yeah.
So you just don't have the opportunity to compare yourself to others, or to see, okay, I have to work on this, I have to be more approachable, or I have to be more open-minded, and so the fact of going out of your comfort zone, it will also give you an idea about yourself before like your environment, which are we talking like to be adapted to. So with yourself, be flexible with yourself first.
Yeah, to add to that, I feel it's a bit of a habit you have to start building, and at least if you're not there yet, you have to like aspire to be.
Yeah.
Right? If you think of things like, oh no, that's not me, right? That's I feel there's a better approach to it. Like as long as you're open to like developing your adaptability, because I think it's something you can work on.
Yeah.
Right? You can improve on.
Yeah,
especially
you
if you
really
put
have to.
yourself in these situations, whether it be socially, whether it be in nature, like, and put yourself in positions to be more adaptable.
Yeah.
I think that's very, very valuable.
Yeah, and if you
For
don't
all
know
people.
how to start that, there are a few amazing books that you can read to help you develop or discover yourself and learn how to deal with your insecurities and be more like open to the outside world. I will tell you about them later.
Yeah.
I think one word that we can say to really try to summarize this point is no matter what kind of experience you've lived up to this point, there's always room and even sometimes necessity for change, for improvement. So you hear people saying, oh, I'm the type of person that does this, I'm this kind of person, I'm this kind of person.
If you're a type,
but don't necessarily close yourself within that circle.
Yes.
Always be open for new experiences.
Sure.
Yeah.
Always try new things. That's always gonna come with a certain benefit. Even if you fail, even if you crash,
Yes.
you gotta learn something from it. It's gonna make you a better person.
Yeah, don't put I think what you're saying is don't put yourself in a box.
In a box,
Correct.
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And on that, ladies and gentlemen, I think is a great place to wrap it up. Right? Any closing comments?
We're finished.
That was a closing comment just then.
other than the one just mentioned.
The mic stayed in the bottle.
Yeah.
Yes.
The dogs didn't stay.
This is why we call it mic in a bottle. Because
This is
it's a
Mike,
mic,
and this is Bottle.
Yeah.
They're very good friends. More than
Yes.
friends, I'd say, at this point.
All right.
always like this.
So, if we are wrapping it up pretty much, I want to say thank you to everybody who's out there, who's listening. If you guys, we're going to be doing this every week.
Yes,
So,
every Thursday, 5 p.m. Stay tuned. There's always like few new subjects we're discussing, and it's always fun.
yeah.
If
So,
you have any suggestions,
That's what I was
yes,
gonna say.
I read minds. If you have any suggestions on which topics you want to hear about or talk about, just let us know and we will be happy to do it for you.
absolutely.
Yay.
So that concludes episode 5, Mike in a Bottle, available on Apple Podcasts and
Yes.
Spotify.
Yes.
And we also were gonna put it on YouTube as well.
Man,
So
you got 2 angles going there. That's
yeah,
Yeah.
this is really
pretty good
distracting.
camera work.
We have like another set cameras all there.
So as Yasmine said, if you guys have anything to contribute, anything you'd love to hear us talk about, we would
Let us know.
we would love your suggestions.
Yeah.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, that's a
That's
wrap.
it.
That's a wrap.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Here.